Nothing in this podcast or on our website should be construed as medical advice. Consult your healthcare provider for your individual nutritional and medical needs. The information presented is based on our research and is strictly that of the author and not necessarily those of any professional group or other individual.
Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Bread Beckers. Welcome to Sue's Healthy Minutes. I'm so excited you've joined me today, and I hope this episode encourages you and allows you to find the answers you have been praying for the health of you and your family. Today on Sue's Healthy Minutes, it is my very great pleasure to introduce to you Bree Thompson, one of the founders and owners of Olivelle, the creator and provider of the most amazing infused olive oils and balsamic vinegars. I met Bree in Bozeman, Montana at an Olivelle retreat for store owners and retailers of the Olivelle line. When I heard Bree's passion for olive oil and providing a superior product line of infused olive oils, vinegars, and seasonings, I wanted her to share her story personally, as I knew she could express it so much better than I could. So, Bree, welcome to Sue's Healthy Minutes podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy life to share with all my listeners today. Why don't you start just by telling a little about yourself, your family, and where you're from?
First, thank you so much, Sue, for having me. I'm so impressed with your business and your story as well. I basically started as a specialty food retailer. I had a little gourmet food shop in Bozeman, Montana, my hometown. And then I started trying to source high quality oils and vinegars. I was able to get some great oils and vinegars that were single estate, really fresh and really vibrant. And then when I started trying to get infused oils and vinegars, I started noticing there were some problems. I started tasting, if you will, defects on them. I would taste an infused oil and there would be like this metallic flavor. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. And so it kind of got my wheels spinning. And then I started figuring out how to take my really high quality single estate oils and infusing them with different flavors like garlic and basil and rosemary and other amazing ingredients. I mean, the goal of what I always did was really customer based and customer focused. And I just wanted to offer a superior product and kind of elevate the cooking experience. I mean, I grew up cooking with my family. We were always in the kitchen, making everything from scratch. We loved food. We loved that time together. But at the same time, as you get older and, you know, your kids are going every which direction and you're going every which direction, I don't want to compromise quality and don't want to compromise flavor for time. And so for me, it was about trying to create these really high quality ingredients that could simplify cooking and make it more fun while still being healthy and flavorful.
Yes, and you certainly have accomplished that. Now, I believe you're one of 12 olive oil tasters in the world. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean, and what led you to pursue that goal?
So I was crafting my products and I was taking it out into the world. And honestly, there was a lot of doubters. There was a lot of haters. There were a few books that came out. One of them called Extra Virginity. There was a big article in, I think, the New Yorker or New York Times called Slippery Business. And people started questioning olive oil and olive oil authenticity. And how do you know it's real? And how do you know you have the good stuff? And for me, it was intuitive. I mean, I've gone to the farms. I've seen the process. I understand the process. I mean, we're working with small estates who value quality over quantity. It's
Right.
a completely different product in the commodity industry. But I felt like I had to prove myself to the industry and to the people that were questioning, how do you know it's real? And so I went through a certification process. And it's a program actually out of Australia. It's a worldwide program called the Extra Virgin Olive Oil Savants. And at the time that I certified a number of years ago, there had been thousands of people that had taken it. And I was the 12th that actually certified. So it was pretty
That's
fun.
an amazing accomplishment. So as an expert in the field, I would love for you to share a little bit about what sets Olivelle infused oils apart from others, the process. I've seen it. It's amazing that the oils go through and to become that delicious infused oil that we all love. And what kind of oil do you start with? What does it mean when we say they're infused with natural ingredients? I just dumped a whole load on you, but just take it away.
Okay, I'll keep it all straight. I think the most important thing is starting with quality ingredients. It's like any recipe, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you start with quality ingredients, then you already are leaps and bounds ahead. And so that's our biggest thing. I only exclusively work with extra virgin olive oil. And even within the extra virgin olive oil realm, flavors can vary drastically. So not only, I mean, we do all the chemical analysis on it to prove that it's extra virgin, but more importantly, it's about the organoleptic, which organoleptic is your smell and your taste. I could give you 20 different olive oils, and 18 of them, they could all be extra virgin. 18 of them might not be organoleptically pleasant. They might be too bitter, or they might have some defective notes on them. So for me, it's really important to taste every single oil that we bring in. So I taste the raw ingredients, and then we start creating from there. As far as the natural flavors go, natural flavors are derived from plants or vegetables. For example, our caramelized garlic olive oil, the natural flavor is derived from garlic, and that's our number one selling olive oil. I know you've used it, Sue.
Oh, yes.
Again, anywhere that you're cooking or you just want to add a little bit of garlic flavor, it's a really healthy, nice way to add that like robust, creamy, but kind of, a little bit bitter garlic flavor.
Yeah. And then your ones that say the sweet cream butter.
Yeah.
Okay. It's vegan. You don't put a stick of butter in there to infuse it.
Correct.
But explain that to our customers so they better understand how you get that flavor.
Yeah. So understanding how the smells and the tastes work is kind of important in this process. People are very visual, and people tend to recognize a taste based off of what they see, not necessarily what their smell or actually taste. And we did this experiment with you when you were here for the retreat, is we had everyone do blind smell tests, and we hid things in cups. And this one blows my mind because every single time someone smells tomatoes, half the people think that it's squash. And I think that's a good example of how flavor notes can be broken down to basically replicate something else. So when we create the butter or the bacon infused olive oil that are both vegan, we are pulling the aromas from other fruits and vegetables to basically recreate that smell or that taste.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I mean, every oil that I've tried and used is absolutely amazing. I did want to address one thing before we go to the vinegars about your olive oils. The enemy of olive oil we know is light and heat, I guess. So storing, and the way your olive oil comes to us is in a cask, or that's the way we keep it on the shelf. And then it's important not to bottle it till the customer's ready to use it, right? Exactly.
So the best way to store olive oil is in a dark cupboard away from direct heat and direct sunlight. So the enemies of olive oil are age. So time. The olive oil is not like a fine wine. It does not get better with age.
Right.
You always want the freshest oil. Light is a really big factor. You do not want to set your olive oil in a window.
Right.
And then temperature. So basically just room temperature below 70 degrees is ideal. And so when we send you the oil, we're sending it in a large bulk container, a large vat, and then it's stored protected from the light, protected from the oxygen, in a way where when you're bottling it the freshest it will ever be this side of the Atlantic. Really.
Yeah. And you shared something else that I think is important for our listeners to hear. There is a lot of information out there about polyphenol content, and there's a couple of people that tout that their oil has the highest polyphenol content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You said something that really pricked my interest, and I want you to share. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
I know. So I have issues with the polyphenols because olive oil by nature has polyphenols in it. Everything that's green and bitter has polyphenols in it. Red wine has polyphenols. Dark chocolate has polyphenols. So really, by consuming the Mediterranean diet, you're getting a whole diet of polyphenols. The sad thing to me is that a few companies have created this number, this polyphenols number, and they're testing olive oil for polyphenols. The issue is those numbers degrade as the product ages.
Yeah.
So if you test it when it's being pressed, that's great. But the storage factors, the time, other things can affect the quantity of polyphenols that are actually in there when you consume it. So to me, it's false advertising at its highest level. And that's the reason that we don't put polyphenols on the olive oil, is because, first of all, polyphenols are not a sign of quality in olive oil.
Right.
And then second, the number that it says that's on the bottle is not accurate. And so at one point, someone will start to recognize that. Maybe the consumer will start to recognize that it's false advertising and they've been played. But unfortunately,
I know.
That's what some people try and differentiate themselves, and that's how they've done it, which unfortunately it's not very fair.
Yeah.
And not very truthful.
Right. Well, I did want to just make that point. I find there's a lot more information out there about olive oil than there is about vinegars. So I do want you to share just a little bit about the balsamic vinegars. Maybe give us a little short vinegar 101 crash course. What's the difference in, say, vinegar we buy in the store, the distilled vinegar, a wine vinegar, dark and white balsamic? That might be a lot in a few minutes, but I think you can bring it down.
I've become a vinegar nerd because there is not a lot of information about vinegar. And vinegar is one of those ingredients that truly elevates any dish. It's so dynamic. I mean, it's sweet and tart and can be a little spicy depending on what you're doing. It can take ordinary truly to extraordinary. So I love vinegar. Vinegar is a fermented sugar. So when they make vinegar, they're fermenting the sugars to turn it into an alcohol. And then there's a double fermentation process, and that fermentation process turns the alcohol into acetic acid, and that's how vinegar is made. The biggest confusion in the market, I would say, is a lot of people are buying balsamic vinegar, or if you're buying balsamic vinegar from the grocery store, if you turn that bottle over and you read the ingredients, the number one ingredient is usually wine vinegar. But true balsamic vinegar is actually made with what's called grape must. Mm-hmm. And grape must is the cooked down grapes. So a wine vinegar is very tart. We know that when we taste it. It's very tart and tangy, where a good balsamic vinegar should be well balanced between sweet and tangy.
Yes.
Because the grapes are cooked down. So the grapes are cooked down and then they're fermented.
Okay.
Making a more premium product.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed some of your balsamics are really thick and sweet. And people are like, are you sure there's no sugar in this? But what creates that thickness and sweetness? What differentiates there?
Yeah. So when the grapes are cooked down, it basically creates a natural reduction. And so the level that the grapes are cooked down, or the more grape must that is in that product, will create a thicker, sweeter balsamic vinegar. And so we play with the grape must content to kind of produce the flavor we want. So for example, a fig balsamic or a pear balsamic, we make a little thicker and a little sweeter, where a cucumber balsamic or our roasted garlic balsamic, we make a little bit thinner and tangier, because they really have different uses.
Yeah. Well, talk about adding a little zip to most any dish. I don't know if I shared with you while we were out there, but I made a homemade raspberry ice cream. And then I topped it with the chocolate espresso balsamic.
Yum.
Oh my goodness. And you're right. I mean, it just brought out the flavor of the ice cream. It was amazing. I had a few people in the class go, yeah, no, putting vinegar on ice cream. I'm like, you got to taste it. I'm telling you, you're going to be a believer when you do that. But that is so true.
That's what's fun about like that chocolate espresso, for example, is you can drizzle that on a steak or on green beans, or you can drizzle it on ice cream. And I think it's kind of a flavor. So if you think about chocolate chip cookies, when you add salt to chocolate chip cookies, it elevates it and takes it to a whole nother level. So by adding that contrasting flavor, where a lot of people aren't necessarily used to that, once they add that contrast, that's what makes it pop.
Yes. Yes. It's absolutely amazing. So all of your balsamics are naturally fermented, correct?
Yeah, everything we do is all natural.
I
That's
know.
something that's very important. Quality ingredients, naturally produced.
Yep. So, you hear people talk about the health benefits of taking like apple cider vinegar, and for joint pain or inflammation or whatever. I've even heard people say weight loss. Can you use the balsamics in the same way?
That's exactly it. So the mother is what's produced in the apple cider vinegar, and all of our vinegars are all natural, and they all have the mother in them. Also, they just taste good. They
I
don't have
know.
to be super acidic and unbearable.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. I'm like, why try to choke that down or mix it with honey when you can just take a swig of the peach balsamic or
Exactly.
the fig or something like that.
The
So,
Meyer lemon. I love
oh,
mixing the raspberry balsamic with the Meyer lemon balsamic and
oh my
doing that.
goodness.
I mean, you can put that in your tea, you can put that in sparkling water, or you can just drink it as a shot or put it on a salad.
Oh my goodness. I know. It is just so delicious. I just love the combinations and just trying new combinations. And one thing that struck me while we were out there at the Olivelle retreat was the similar passion and vision that we share. And your mission statement says you desire to inspire a creativity and a passion for good food. And the quality and flavor of a dish is only as good as the ingredients used to prepare it. I just love that. And while my focus sometimes seems to be more on the nutrition of the food, I stress that it has to be delicious as well. And I can truthfully say that Olivelle infused oils, vinegars, and the seasonings that I have used, and even my tried and true recipes, have just lifted the flavor to a whole new level, not just in my bread, but in main dishes and in soups as well. I tell people, just take your recipe and try one of these oils or these vinegars. And so I recently substituted the vanilla maple oil for the oil in just the regular olive oil in my basic muffin recipe.
Oh, fun.
And then I added a grated apple and some cinnamon. Oh my goodness. It was like all the fall flavors that you want. They were absolutely incredible. So I know you're a very, very busy lady and you need to get on with your day. And I just want to thank you for sharing your passion, your vision for Olivelle. And I think everyone listening will be inspired. I always like to give my guests a final opportunity to share any words of encouragement and sum up to our listeners what makes the Olivelle line so special and what does it mean for our consumers?
Oh, I think just have fun in the kitchen. Realize that nothing has to be strict or too rigid. Just have fun, enjoy your time, like make it your peaceful place, and food can be enjoyable.
It can be nutritious and delicious.
Yeah.
That's what Brad has a saying. If it doesn't taste good, it's not good for you because you're not going to eat it. Brad.
Yes, Brad is
I
great.
know that we at Bread Beckers, we're just so glad that our daughter Ashley introduced us to you in 2019. We love using and offering the Olivelle infused oils and vinegars and seasonings to our customer. So much so that from that very first year in 2019, I think we started in November, but that very first year, our very popular annual Christmas classes, our theme every year has been centered around Olivelle recipes. And this year is no different. We're doing the best of Olivelle this year. Some of my favorite recipes, the coffee rub steak tips, we're going to do that one. But anyway, I just encourage everyone listening to check out our huge selection of Olivelle oils and vinegars and seasonings. And hey, Christmas is coming. They make a great gift. We can box it up in a gift box with the recipes. And even if that someone special is you, just might want to buy it for yourself.
Yeah, a gift for you, a gift for them.
Yes. So, and while our in-person Christmas classes are full, you can still register to join in the live stream option on either our Saturday, December 7th or Tuesday evening, December 10th. And as an online viewer, you will have a chance to win some beautiful Olivelle gift boxes. So, Bree, I know you need to get on with your day. Thank you again for sharing the story of Olivelle and your passion for quality product. And to everyone, thank you for listening today. And until next time, this is Sue Becker from Bread Beckers with Sue's Healthy Minutes.
Sue's Healthy Minutes podcast has been a presentation by the Breadbeckers Incorporated located in Woodstock, Georgia. For more information, store hours, and learning opportunities, visit breadbeckers.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. Share this with 2 friends who would benefit from this information, and be sure to join us again next week for more of Sue's Healthy Minutes.